Hello, YouTube viewers. Welcome to my review and prediction of the top 10 for America's Got Talent Season 6. This is the final live show besides the finals, which will be held next Tuesday. It's going to be the final 4. This was the top 10, and from these 10, 4 acts are going to move on. So I'm just going to go through the 10 acts and pick which 4 I think will move on. Okay. The first act to go up was the Miami All-Stars. Let's get started. They were the Latin dance crew from, obviously, Miami. This week they did this sports-themed mascot dance. It was just whatever. I mean, I wasn't really a big fan of them anyways. Last performance I thought was really good, but this one was definitely not as good as last performance. And it was just kind of weird and out there, and they had this guy dressed as a chicken, which was supposed to be a mascot, and I didn't like it, and I don't think they're going to move on because they got an X from Piers, and the judges in consensus pretty much didn't like the performance. So, The second act to go up was Lise Agnes. She's the opera singer. Tonight she did, oh boy, it was weird. It was weird. Some of the acts were weird. She did a performance of Steven Tyler's song Dream On. Definitely not an opera song, but she had this low tone going on and she was singing super low and then she hit some of the higher notes. I did not care for it compared to some of her other performances, honestly. It was different, it was unique, you know, she showed something new, but compared to other performances, especially her last one, I didn't think this stood out at all. And it was just weird. It wasn't Lise Agnes. It wasn't the Lise Agnes that I loved from the audition. So I don't think she'll move on, honestly. I thought she was one of my favorites to win it, but now I don't think she's going to move on. The third act to go up was Landon Swank. He's the magician from Alaska. He did this fish conjuring trick where he ate a goldfish, then spit out a real fish, and then stuck his hand through like a fish tank. It was similar if you watched a few episodes. In his quarterfinals, he did this mirror trick. He stepped through a mirror. He pretty much just did it with his hand through a fish tank this time and put the fish back in the tank, which when he released his hand, the fish wasn't even there. So I think the fish might have died. I don't even know what happened. It was just whatever. It was good, but in a live setting, you couldn't really see what was going on. He was definitely playing towards America because the camera got good views. The audience, I don't think, saw really anything because it was such a small magic trick, not like a big appear trick, you know? But I don't know. Magicians usually don't do that well. If they make it this far in the competition, they usually don't move on just because some of the singing and dancing acts are so good, which I think is going to happen again this year, so I think he'll just get squeezed out of the top 4 spots. The next act to go up was Anna Graceman. She's the 11-year-old singer from Alaska as well. She sang True Colors. It was a very, very solid performance by her. She has a great voice for an 11-year-old singer. However, my problem is it was not memorable. And it was not different, and it was not unique. It was the typical sing an inspirational song, and she does really well, and then we all move on and clap and yay. It was just not that memorable. She didn't pull anything out of the box. Now, I wouldn't want her to pull off something like Lise did and go too crazy, but you need to liven it up a little bit, Anna. So, I don't know. I think she might get squeezed out of the top 4 too. She has a chance, but I don't think it's a good chance. The fifth act to go up, and this is where things kind of started to pick up a little bit, was the Silhouettes. They are the shadow dancing group ranging from ages 3 to 18. In their opening segment, they talked about a little girl that was going blind, and I just went, "Aw." But they did this routine similar. This is one thing I did not like about their performance. It was a little bit too similar for me to their performance a few weeks ago where they did an American tribute. This time they did like a dream, the American Dream tribute. And the whole theme was this guy who goes to school, and then the scenes are all of his becoming his dreams, getting his diploma, being an astronaut. They formed the Capitol Hill. They formed all these cool images. It was just a little bit too similar. They had American Landmarks, American Dream. But overall, it was a really good performance. I liked their first performance, so I kind of like this one too. And it actually was probably in my top 2 or 3 performances of the night. And I think they have a very good chance of moving on because they did really well. The next act to go up was the Samaji Brothers riding show. They're the 2 brothers who motorcycle around, and there's little stunt guy that just lies on the ground and gets jumped over. This act, it was skate park themed. They had colorful ramps, and they just did cool tricks. Definitely not even in comparison to their last week's performance. Last week was really good, the whole farm theme with their whole family. This week, they kind of just jumped around. They jumped over the guy as usual. In one of the tricks, the guy who was lying down got hit in the head. And I'm like, whoa, okay. This is a live show, so that's definitely possible. But I don't think they stepped it up at all, so I don't think that they're going to move on. The next act to go up was Pop Life. One of my favorite acts since the beginning. I called them to go very, very far when they auditioned. Just putting that out there. And tonight they did a Jackson 5 medley, and it was outstanding yet again. They have been improving week after week after week after week. And this performance, I don't think they're singing. I don't think the girl Kehlani's singing was as good as last week. But I think their performance overall was better. And I didn't think they were going to be able to top last week because it was so great. But this time they had rising stages, more dancing, more integration of the band. And I loved it yet again. It's really morphing into a band just other than Kehlani and the band. It's a band. And I love that. And I think they are going to be in the Final Four. I don't want to call them to win yet. I need to see their final performance because I am calling them to be in the Final Four. If they don't make it, that will be a travesty. But they are one of my favorites to win right now. So fingers crossed, Pop Life. The next act to go up, one of my favorite acts as well since they came from the YouTube show, West Springfield Dance Team. Clearly, easily, one of my favorite acts. However, they did a vampire-themed horror dance this time, and I could see what the judges were saying when they said it was so similar to all their other performances. If you watch their first performance progress all the way to their wild card, semifinals, and now the top 10, they're all so similar in fashion that after watching 2, 3, 4 performances, you're like, okay, yeah, they're going to do that, they're going to do that. Oh, look, one of those moves. You know, and I love them, and I love the theme, and it's so cool. And I really would like them to move on, but they got an X from peers. The judges all pretty much did not like it. And I definitely see what they're saying when they say the act was too predictable. So, sorry, West Springfield. Better luck next time. Okay, we're reaching the end now. The 9th act to go up. Landau, Eugene Murphy Jr. The crooner from West Virginia that washes cars. He sang a Dean Martin song, Ain't That a Kick in the Head. Very, very good song. And again, as I said a few weeks ago, and as well as when he performed last week, he has been one of my favorite singers in particular. Possibly not really one of my favorite acts because I don't really go for the singers, individual singers, but he's clearly my favorite singer in the competition. I love his jazzy crooner voice. It was, again, another pure performance. He got a standing O from the judges from the whole place. The whole place was lit up by his voice. I think he has a very good chance of moving on. In fact, I think the 4 acts that stand out are clearly going to move on because the 4 acts were clearly another level above, I believe, everybody else. And that includes the last act, which happens to be Team Illuminate. pretty much America in general, it's America's choice to win the competition. And for good reason, because they were outstanding again. They're the Blacklight Dance team. They did a routine that included the girl who does all the mathematics on the computer to get the lights to work. They did their dance, which I really love this part about this performance. They did it to a violin piece. They did it to a piece by Nuttin' But Strings, who came in 3rd place back in season 2 or 3 of America's Got Talent. And I love the violin. It is a great instrument. And I love pieces and musical segments that are only violin. And so when they danced to this, I was like, ooh, this is great. And it was, from beginning to end, very good, very inspirational, a moving one compared to their last one. Last one was really fun. This one was more of a moving piece, and I loved it. And alright, so I'm going to pick the 4 acts right now. I don't want to be cocky, okay? But I am 95% confident that these 4 acts are going to be the 4 acts that move to the top 4. And that is the Silhouettes, Pop Life, Landau Eugene Murphy Jr., and Team Illuminate. If those 4 acts, based on the performances in total tonight, do not move on, that will be a travesty, because they were clearly the 4 best acts of the night by far. They were the only 4 acts to get a full standing ovation from the whole building, as well as all 3 judges. They deserve to move on. And, I mean, possibly Lisa Agnes could take a spot, just because she is, like, America's... she is very popular with America, but I don't think she deserves to move on with her performance last night. So, those 4 acts need to move on. If they don't, I will be very, very disappointed in America. So that's pretty much all I have to say. I might be doing a review of tomorrow's results show, just because we're almost down to the end here. Maybe, maybe not. Depends on how I'm feeling. I have school, blah, blah, blah. But if I don't see you tomorrow night, I will see you next Tuesday. The final 4 perform for the winner of America's Got Talent to be chosen the next day, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on NBC. Be there. Watch it. Like the video, please. Comment, subscribe, maybe. Okay. Bye.